right, hush children, I'm ready to teach you. Let's do this. So today we're writing equations of parabolas. So there's two different kinds of parabolas. We have our vertical parabola. What does the equation of a vertical parabola in vertex form look like? Not all at once. What's the equation of a vertical parabola?
Is that like sarcasm?
Not all at once. Yeah, that was sarcasm. Danny?
You want like the A's and the K's and the...
Yeah.
So from my memory, I think it's y equals a times, like in a parentheses, like x minus, is it k? H. Squared plus k.
You got it. So this is our vertical parabola in vertex form. This is vertical parabola. All right, what is a horizontal parabola in vertex form? What does that equation look like? Tori? You got it, perfect. So this is our horizontal parabola. So now what we're going to do in our day 3 lesson is, given all different information of a parabola, we're going to come up with the equation that represents that parabola. So we're going to start off easy. If I give you a graph or if I give you a vertex and a point, what should we do with that? So the first part is going to be given a graph or vertex and point. Okay, so our vertex here, I'm making a graph, is going to be the point 2, 3. And then I'm going to have the y-intercept be 0, 5. You guys don't have to write this down, but let's recap to this. What is this an equation of?
A line.
A line. In this format of an equation of a line, what does M represent?
Slope.
The slope. What does B represent? Philip?
The y-intercept.
The y-intercept. What do X and Y represent? So M is the slope, B is the y-intercept. What do X and Y represent? Tori? Good. It represents every set of points that exists on that line. It represents every point, every coordinate that exists on that line. Why did I bring it back to a line? Because in an equation of a parabola, y equals a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k, we know what all the variables represent, right? hk represents the vertex. We have A tells us how wide it's going to be, right? That's all, and it's opening, right? Opening up, down, left, right. So A decides its opening and how wide it's going to be. HK is the vertex. There's two more variables, X and Y. What do X and Y represent? X and Y are going to represent the same thing they represent in a line. All the points that exist on that parabola. Every combination of points that can be on that parabola. And isn't there an infinite amount of points on this parabola? Yeah, X and Y represents them all. So let's see. Do we all agree if we want the equation of this parabola to make sense, I need a value for H, I need a value for K because that's our vertex. What's the other thing I need a value for? For us to look at this equation and be like, oh yeah, we know what that parabola looks like, or we can sketch that parabola. Danny? An A. Well, we know the vertex is 2, 3. So what does that mean for us? That means my H is 2 and my K is 3. The only other thing we have is the point 0, 5. That means 0 is X and 5 is Y. What am I going to do? I still don't have an A. I'm going to take all this information, the fact that H is 2, K is 3, X is 0, Y is 5. I'm going to go back to this equation of a parabola. I'm going to plug in for everything and solve for A. Once I then solve for A, I will have enough to make the equation of this parabola recognizable. So that's our plan. So I'm plugging in for H, K, X, and Y, and then we are solving for A. So Y equals A, oops, sorry. My Y is 5, so 5 equals A, open up our parentheses, our X is 0, minus our H is 2, and our K is 3. Now I simplify this down, so 5 equals 4A plus 3. We now solve for A. So 2 equals 4A, so A will equal a half. So now that I have a value for H, a value for K, and a value for A, I can now make my equation of this parabola. So Y equals a half times the quantity of X minus 2 squared plus 3. All right, let's do another one. Anybody still copying this one? So my vertex is going to be the point 4, negative 1. And I'm going to have another point on 2, 3. So my vertex is 4, negative 1. I have a point that is 2, 3. Since this is a horizontal parabola, What is the format for the equation we're going to use? The equation of a horizontal parabola. Arav.
X equals a times y minus k squared plus h.
Perfect. Plus h. Well, do we agree right now my h is 4, my k is -1? Do I have an a? No, I don't have an a. But I do have an x and a y. What's the x coordinate? 2. What's the y coordinate? 3. So remember, our point is xy, our vertex is hk. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my h, my k, my 2, and my x and my y. I'm going to plug them in, and I will solve for a. So now we're going to have 2 is equal to a times 3 minus -1, quantity squared, plus 4. So we have 2 is equal to a times, doesn't that double negative make a positive? So we are 4 squared plus 4. So let's keep going. We have 2 is equal to 16a plus 4. Now we solve. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, so I have -2 is equal to 16a. So a will equal -1/8. Okay, couple of things I want to discuss. First thing, does it make sense that my a is negative? It sure does. Why? Why does it make sense that my a is negative? Hi?
It's like
No, it has nothing to do with the inverse. Want to try again? Because it's opening left, exactly. Because it's opening to the left. Our a is negative, it's opening to the left. If a were positive, it'd be opening to the right. So this makes me feel confident. Also, isn't this parabola pretty wide? That also makes sense, because remember, if the a, aside from the negative, aside from its sign, if the a is between 0 and 1, meaning a fraction, it's going to be wider. If my a is a whole number, it's going to be more narrow. So this is completely in line with what we're seeing. All right, so now we have everything we need to make the equation of this parabola. Y is equal to -1/8 times the quantity of, oh, sorry, this is x, not y. Sorry, guys. X is equal to -1/8 times the quantity of y minus -1, quantity squared, plus 4. I can't leave it like this. Why not? Because of the double negative. What does a double negative make? Positive. So x will equal -1/8 times the quantity of y plus 1, quantity squared, plus 4. All right, we'll do one more problem and then we will stop. So I want us to write the equation of a parabola with a focus of 5,3 and directrix of y equals -1. Okay, whenever you have these problems where you're trying to find the equation of a parabola and you're not given a graph, like a visual of it, you have to decide what kind of parabola is it? Is it a vertical parabola or is it a horizontal parabola? That's your starting point. You have to, before you can move forward with finding the equation, you have to know what kind of equation you're trying to find. So, who can tell me from the given information, how would we know what kind of parabola this is? Tejas?
Vertical.
Good. How did you know?
The directrix.
Good. Guys, the directrix is a horizontal line. When the directrix is horizontal, that means the parabola is vertical. If the directrix is vertical, that means the parabola is horizontal. So we are going to say, because directrix is a horizontal line, the parabola will be vertical. So now that we know that the parabola is vertical, I'm going to set up my y equals the quantity of x minus h squared plus k. All right, let's now work with what we have. I have my focus, which is the 0.53. Now, to find the focus of a vertical parabola, it's going to be h comma k plus 1 over 4a. All right, so what do we know? I know that h has to equal 5. Do we agree with that? H must equal 5 from this. All right, we also know that k plus 1 over 4a must equal 3. All right, well, at least I have the h, right? I still don't have a k, I still don't have an a. Let's keep going. The next thing they gave us was the directrix. And the directrix for us is y equals -1. Now, if you guys memorized your formulas, it was going to be for a vertical parabola, the directrix is y equals, change up the color here, y equals k minus 1 over 4a. Still not giving me much, right? I still only have the value of h. I don't have a k and I don't have an a. Oops, sorry. For this one, sorry, we didn't plug in. That means k minus 1 over 4a must equal -1. Right. So I'm going to repeat it again. We have an h, we don't have a k, we don't have an a. But I do have two equations. I have k plus 1 over 4a equals 3, and I have k minus 1 over 4a equals -1. I have two equations. Do they both use the same variables? Yes, because I have two missing variables and I have two different equations using those variables. What can I set up to solve? Danny?
A system.
A system, exactly. We are going to set up a system. Because I have two different unknown variables and I have two different equations that use those unknown variables, I can set up my system. So I have k plus 1 over 4a equals 3. K minus 1 over 4a equals -1. This is great because the a's cancel just by adding. No need to manipulate anything. So I have k plus k, which gives us 2k, equals 3 plus a -1, which is 2. Divide by 2, k is 1. Now that I have a k, I can use one of my equations to solve for a. So I'm going to go back to k plus 1 over 4a equals 3. And now I'm going to sub in that 1. So 1 plus 1 over 4a will equal 3. 1 over 4a is equal to 2. I'm now going to cross multiply. So I get 8a equals 1. A is equal to 1/8. Do I have values for all the variables that I need values for? I think so. I have now a value for h, I have a value for k, and I have a value for a. So I am ready to write my equation of my vertical parabola. Y is equal to 1/8 times the quantity of x minus 5 squared plus 1. And this is where we will stop. We will continue this lesson tomorrow.